If you have a blanket or a towel that you can make into this kind of roll, that would be ideal. If you have a bolster, that would work too if it's not too large. Okay, and if you don't have either, we will work with that. All right, then come to your mat with your blanket roll or your bolster and just lay it perpendicular to the mat. So like so, we're gonna lay our chest over it. So you're gonna lay back so that the roll is kind of just underneath the nipple line. And then you're gonna rest your head back and bring your arms into cactus. Now you can adjust the roll. If that feels like too much for you, you can unroll it a little bit so that you're on a smaller roll. Okay. And you may find that you need a little extra something under your head. So if you need to grab a pillow or another blanket to put under your head, you can do that. And if you don't have the blanket or the towel, you can use a block. This can be a little more intense, but if this is all you have, you can lay back with the chest over the block, again, so that the block is right underneath the low ribs. Okay, and again, this is a little more intense. So preferably if you have a blanket or blanket roll, that's what we're going for. So once you find that place where you can be comfortable and rest for a few, arms in cactus, eyes closed, just let yourself relax a bit as we wait for others to get settled. So laying over the roll, so this is a big heart opener. Again, if it's too much, maybe you can make your blanket roll a little smaller. But we're just gonna start here for a few moments. Morning, Leslie. So just lay there with your heart open. And then I want you to imagine a spinning top. Just noticing how when the top is perfectly centered and spinning at just the right speed, it appears motionless. And this is called stillness in action, or unconflicted movement. And it's something that we all can experience whenever we are wholeheartedly present in whatever we're doing. When we are free of conflict. And there's another piece to this that I call dynamic stillness, which is similar, but that's when we actually are physically still like we are now, but there's not a negation of energy. There's actually a presence and awareness and a subtle energy that is flowing at that perfect frequency to where we can sit in stillness unconflicted. And that's difficult. So a lot of times we struggle to be still. And it's because we are not wholeheartedly present. And that may be because of some conflict, whether it's a thought or maybe some physical ailment, tightness in a certain part of your body. And so it's just something that we work towards, but it takes practice. And so right now, resting in this dynamic stillness, just allow yourself to be wholeheartedly present, to be participating in this moment. And then just see if you can sense that subtle energy moving through you. This is an experience of life in harmony with itself. And we'll try to revisit this throughout our practice. These two concepts of stillness. And just take 3 more full breaths here on that bolster, really feeling the heart space expanding each time you breathe in. And then roll to one side so that you can move your bolster or your blanket roll down so that it's underneath your sacrum now. And again, if a block is more accessible or just sounds more appealing to you, you can slide a block in underneath your sacrum instead. So blanket or bolster or block underneath the sacrum, and then extend the legs out long. Bring the arms overhead, reaching long through the fingertips, just finding this full body stretch, expanding and stretching through the front body. Just take a few more deep breaths in here. Then bend your knees, bring your feet to the floor. Lift the hips just enough to remove your prop. And then rest the hips back down and extend the legs out long again. Now grab a hold of opposite elbow. We're going to move into banana asana here, just starting with a little lateral stretch. So we're going to take the upper body, both feet to the left. Keep both shoulders and both hips grounded. If you want to deepen the stretch, you could try crossing right ankle over left. So you should feel a stretch in the right side body. And then focus your breathing into the right ribs. Imagine creating a little more space, a little light between each one of the ribs every time you breathe in. And each time you breathe out, just come back to that present moment, that experience of stillness. Let's take one more full breath in. As you exhale, release back to center. We're going to interlace the fingers and press your palms towards the wall behind you. So still stretching long from hands to feet. And then take a deep belly breath in. So feel the belly rise and then hold the breath in for just a moment. And then as you exhale, draw the navel in towards your spine and up towards your heart. So it's going to give you a nice little stretch across the front of the body. So as inhale again, belly inflates. Pause at the top of the inhale. Exhale, draw navel in and up towards the heart. And then one more time, deep breath in, belly rises. Hold the breath in for just a moment. And then exhale, navel draws in and up towards the heart. Good. And then release the hands, bring hands to opposite elbow again, but this time bring the other arm on top. So switching the position of the arms. And now we'll take the upper body and both feet to the right. And option here to cross left leg over right. Keeping both shoulders, both hips grounded. Finding that stretch along the left side body. And then breathing into those left ribs. Letting that inhale give you a deeper sensation in the stretch. And again, the exhale reminds us to be present. You deserve your full attention for this practice. And take one more deep breath in. And then exhale, release back to center. And once again, we're going to interlace the fingers, but do it the odd way this time, moving everything over one digit. And then press the palms towards the wall behind you. So finding a full body stretch again. And just like we did before, we're going to take a deep belly breath in. Hold the breath in for just a moment at the top. And then exhale, navel draws in towards the spine and up towards the heart. And we'll do that twice more. Deep breath in. Hold it. And then exhale, navel draws in and up. And once more. And then release the arms alongside the body. Bend the knees. Actually, we're going to take the arms out from the T, sorry. Bring your arms out in a T. Bending the knees. We're going to press into the feet, lift the hips just a little bit and place them about 2 inches to the right. And then we're going to take the knees to the left for a twist. Now, if you prefer to wrap the legs, feel free to do that. I'm just coming into a supine twist here. So whatever's comfortable for you, maybe even resting your left hand on top of that right knee. And then just taking your gaze up towards the sky, but then closing the eyes. Staying connected to the breath. Finding space and expansion in the body as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, returning to the moment. On your next inhale, we're going to sweep that right arm down towards the feet and then reach it over, way over to the left. And then drag the fingers along the floor up overhead, coming full circle. And we'll do 2 more big circles just like that. So bringing some movement into the shoulder joint, allowing the torso to move with it a bit. And then as you finish this last circle, we'll roll back onto the back. Shift yourself back to the midline of your mat. And then we're going to take the hips 2 inches to the left, take the knees to the right. And again, feel free to wrap the legs if you prefer, or take any other version of twist here. And then close your eyes, find your breath, taking an expansive breath in, and releasing on the breath out. On your next inhale, sweep the left hand down towards your feet, and then reach that left arm way over to the right, and then drag the fingers along the floor up overhead as you come full circle. And then do 2 more big giant circles, nice and slow with that left arm. And at the end of that 3rd circle, we'll roll back onto our backs. And then hug the knees into your chest. Squeeze the knees in tight and rock side to side. And as the knees rock left, take your gaze to the right. And as the knees rock right, gaze left. Okay, and then pausing at center, we're going to bring our hands to the back of the thighs. And we're going to rock and roll forward and back a few times. So maybe the hips lift on the way back, lifting your heart on the way forward. And then the next time you come forward, we're going to pause in boat, a supported boat pose. So see if you can find your balance here. Drawing shoulders back, lifting through the heart. bringing the big toe mounds to touch and spreading the toes wide. And then if you want to here, you can release the hands. Maybe extend the legs if that's in your practice. Just keep the heart lifted, the face soft and relaxed. Keep breathing. We'll take one more breath in. And as you exhale, bring the feet to the floor, hip width apart. Bring your hands to the mat behind you, fingers pointing towards your feet. And on your next inhale, we're going to come into a reverse table. So lifting the hips. Hopefully as you lift up, shoulders are stacked over your wrists and knees over ankles. And you can either look down at your knees or look up towards the sky. Just don't let the head fall too far back. So now press into the big toe mounds. Press the hips a little higher. You might feel that stretch in the shoulders. We'll take one more breath here. And then exhale, release back down. And then we'll straighten the legs, coming to Dandasana here. And let's just do some ankle circles. One direction, and then the other. And then feet hip width apart again, just flexing the feet. Arms on the mat by your hips, sitting up tall. We're just going to windshield wiper the feet side to side. You should feel that all the way up into the hips. Okay, and then coming to center again. Okay, we're just going to sit up nice and tall. Inhale, reach the arms towards the sky. As you exhale, we're going to hinge at the hips. Keep reaching out, keep lengthening as you fold forward. You can soften the knees a bit if you need to, and then just let the hands rest wherever they comfortably fall. Let the forehead drop towards the legs. Close your eyes. And breathe into any places that feel tight. Any place in your body where you might feel a little conflict. Just send the breath there. Send some loving compassion to those places. See if you can allow those places to release a little bit more. And then on your next inhale, we're going to reach long through the arms again, ground the sits bones, draw navel to spine, and start to rise all the way up, reaching towards the sky. And then exhale, release the arms down. From here, we'll make our way to table, okay? So one way to get there, if you want to try, is to cross your ankles. Bring the feet in close to the body, hands forward. Kind of have to step back to plank and then bring the knees down. So however you want to get there, we'll meet in table. Shoulders stacked over the wrists, hips over the knees. And we'll move through a few cat-cows. We haven't warmed up the spine a whole lot yet. So inhale, take your gaze up towards the sky. Draw the shoulder blades back towards the hips. And as you exhale, tuck the tailbone. Draw the navel in, the head drops. We broaden through the shoulder blades. And then just keep moving at your pace. Trying to connect the movement to the breath. This is a good place to practice that stillness in action or unconflicted movement. So we're moving the physical body, but if we can stay present wholeheartedly without conflict, you can experience that harmony. And then on your next inhale, we'll all meet back in table. And then on your next breath in, reach your left arm towards the sky. Pause here, gaze up at the left hand, draw the shoulders away from the ears, do some circles at the wrist. And then switch the direction. Take another breath in. See if you can open a little bit more, reaching back a little further with that left arm. And then as you exhale, we're going to feed it through for a twist. So bring that left shoulder and the head to the floor. Press into the right hand to draw that right shoulder back. Shift the hips ever so slightly to your left. And then if you want to, you can extend that right arm towards the sky, maybe wrap it around behind the low back. Just coming into a twist. And then come back to the breath again. See if you can find a little more space and expansion in the torso as you inhale, even though we're constricted here. Each time you exhale, think of drawing the navel in and drawing that right shoulder back a bit more. And then we'll take one more deep breath in, reaching that right arm towards the sky. And then as you exhale, bring that right hand to the mat by your face. Inhale, press into the right hand, sweep the left arm all the way up to the sky again, and then exhale back to table. And then on your next breath in, we'll reach the right arm high, gaze up at the right hand, draw shoulders away from the ears, do some circles at the wrist in one direction, and then the other. And then inhale, find a little more opening through the chest. Exhale to twist. So feed that right arm through, bring right shoulder and head to the mat. Pause here, press into the left hand, draw that left shoulder back. Shift the hips slightly more to the right. And then you can stay here, or if you want to take a different arm variation, feel free to honor whatever your body's asking for. And then come back to that breath. Trying to find a little more space and expansion with every breath in. A little more twist with each breath out. And then take one more breath in, reach that left arm towards the sky. Exhale, bring the left hand to the mat by your face. And as you inhale, press into that left hand, sweep the right arm towards the sky. And exhale, release to center. And then bring your hands forward a bit. So heel the hands come to where the fingertips just were. Spread your fingers really wide. Ground mostly into that thumb and forefinger. Tuck your toes under. And then lift your hips. Keep the knees deeply bent for the first few breaths. Pressing the hips back, shifting the hips side to side or walking out the legs. Just finding a little movement here. And then on your next breath in, coming to that dynamic stillness, right? So making the pose appear to be still, but we're active, we're pressing into the hands, we're lengthening, there's lots of energy there. Head and neck is relaxed. Knees can be bent a little or a lot. You're pressing your heart back towards your thighs and rolling the inner thighs towards the wall behind you. And then on your next breath in, take your gaze forward towards the top of your mat. And as you exhale, we'll step or walk forward, coming into a standing forward fold, Uttanasana. Feet hip width apart. Letting the head hang heavy. Let's bend the knees deeply and interlace the hands behind the back. And then you can start to lift the hands away from the body as you fold forward deeper. Tuck the chin, let the crown of the head fall heavy towards the floor. Squeeze the shoulder blades together, lift the shoulders away from the ears, and maybe lift all 10 toes. Good. And then release the hands. Bend the knees a lot. Inhale the arms up in front for chair pose. So hips are moving back. You want to make sure you can see your toes in front of the knees. Sitting nice and deep. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, bring hands together in front of the heart. Pause here, breathe in. And then as you exhale, we're going to twist. You're going to take right elbow to left knee, if you can, or you can bring the lower arms to both thighs, okay? If you can bring the elbow to knee, press the palms together, open your heart towards your thumbs. Maybe gazing up towards the sky for a prayer twist. Now again, if you'd rather have that lower right arm on the legs and left hand on the hip, that's a great variation. Bringing the booty down a little lower. Take one more breath in. And then exhale, bring hands to heart center. Hold here, breathe in. Exhale to the other side. So left elbow to right knee or left forearm to the thighs and right hand to hip. And so whichever is more accessible to you. And then we lower the hips, open our heart to the right. Find the breath. And then inhale, bring the hands to heart center. And exhale to a well-deserved forward fold. You can wiggle out the ankles if you need to. Again, knees can be bent or straight, it's your choice. Find any kind of forward fold here. So if you want, you can take ragdoll arms, swaying side to side, or just let the arms dangle. Good, and then we're gonna press into the feet. And on your inhale, we're gonna rise up in a reverse swan dive. So navel to spine, arms reach out from the shoulders. We slowly rise all the way up and reach towards the sky. And then exhale, open your arms wide, lift through the heart. Pause here for a moment. Draw shoulders down away from the ears. Draw your tailbone towards the floor. Navel draws towards the spine, and then we lift through the front body a little bit more. And then inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and bow forward. And all the way back to that forward fold. And then take a deep breath in, lift halfway, hands to shins. Crown of the head reaching forward. Exhale, folding forward again. Bend the knees, plant the hands, step your left foot way back for lunge. So you want your right knee stacked over the right ankle. We're active in this back leg, pressing back through the back heel. Squeeze the inner thighs together like you're scissoring the legs, getting nice and strong and stable through the low body. And then on your next inhale, you're gonna press into the feet and rise up and reach towards the sky. Pause here for a moment, maybe sink a little deeper into the hips, squeeze these low ribs in and draw the tailbone down. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, we're going to sweep right arm down, back, left arm forward for another twist. And then inhale, windmill your arms open, drop that back heel, come to warrior two. Okay, so check out your front knee. You should be able to see the big toe on the inside of the knee. We're grounding through the outer edge of that back foot, stacking shoulders over hips, gazing out over the front fingertips. Then relax a little bit through the arms. We tend to get really rigid sometimes when we're focusing on these poses. So just softening a little bit. And then inhale, come to a reverse warrior. Keep that front knee bent, sweep that right arm up and back. Feeling the right ribs lifting away from the right hip. And then on your next inhale, We're gonna open to 5-pointed star. So turn to face the side of your mat. Both legs are straight, both arms are straight and reaching up towards the sky. Good. So toes are pointing out slightly. On your next exhale, we're gonna come into goddess. So cactusing the arms, deep bend in the knees, tailbone down. And then notice if you're lunging forward a little bit here. See if you can draw the heart space back to bring shoulders to stack over the hips. And sit a little lower and lift all 10 toes and breathe. Noticing whenever you feel or experience conflict, whether it's in the mind or the body, and then just seeing if you can send your breath to those places to bring a little ease. And then inhale, reach up, 5-pointed star. As you exhale, turn toes in, heels out, release the hands behind the back, interlace the fingers. And then inhale, lift your heart towards the sky as the hands reach towards the floor. And exhale, hinge at the hips, ground into the outer edges of the feet as you start to fold forward, letting the hands come away from the body, engaging those inner thighs. And then we'll release the hands, bring the hands to the floor or a block beneath your chest. Okay. And then on your next inhale, let's reach that left arm towards the sky. So twisting, gazing up at that left hand. And then exhale, release. Inhale the right arm towards the sky, gazing up at that right hand. And exhale to center. Let's do that twice more on each side. Inhale, lift, left arm. Try to isolate the movement to the upper body. Exhale, release. Inhale, right arm extends. Exhale, release. And one more time on each side. And then from here, we'll walk the hands around to face the front of the mat, turning the toes forward and coming back into our lunge. And then planting the hands, we're going to step that front foot back, coming into plank. So shoulders stack over the wrists. Again, fingers are spread wide. We're pressing back through the heels, lengthening out through the crown of the head, shoulder blades wrapping onto the back. Squeeze outer hips in, navel to spine. Lots of engagement here. Another example of that dynamic stillness. So we don't appear to be moving, but there's a lot happening. And take a deep breath in. As you exhale, drop knees, chest and chin. So the booty stays in the air for a moment, and then untuck your toes. Draw your heart forward as you lift the head and chest for cobra. Squeeze those elbows in, draw the shoulders back. Heart reaches forward. Tops of the feet are pressing into the floor. Take one more breath here. And then exhale, release. Press up through table. Tuck the toes under. Back to downward facing dog. And take a few moments here in down dog. You can move or be still, it's your choice. Okay, just settle the breath. Stay present. On your next breath in, gaze forward. And as you exhale, make your way to the top of your mat. Standing forward fold. And just like we did before, on your inhale, we're going to reverse swan dive with a flat spine rising all the way up and reaching towards the sky. And then exhale, open the arms wide, lift through the heart as the tailbone draws down. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hinge at the hips and bow forward. And then inhale to a half lift, hands to shins or maybe the thighs, torso parallel to the floor. And then exhale, fold. Bend the knees, plant the hands. We're going to step the right leg back this time. And again, just taking a moment in our lunge. Feel the strength and stability in the lower body. So active in that back leg, left knee stacking over the left ankle. Engage those inner thighs. And on your next breath in, press into the feet, rise up, crescent lunge. Reaching the arms towards the sky, squeezing low ribs together, tailbone down, and sitting a little deeper into those hips. Take a deep breath in. As you exhale, we're going to sweep left arm down and back, right arm forward for a twist. And then inhale, windmill the arms open as you drop that back heel, coming to warrior two. Take a moment here, ground through the outer edge of that back foot. Make sure that you're drawing the front knee more towards the pinky toe side of the foot. Shoulders stacked over hips. A tendency often here is to lunge forward. So just reaching back a little bit through that right arm. Gazing forward. And inhale to reverse warrior. So keep that front knee deeply bent. Feel left ribs lifting away from the left hip. And then on your next breath in, we'll come to five-pointed star, facing the side of the mat. So again, toes turn out. And then exhale to goddess. Deep bend in the knees. Keep the shoulders stacked over the hips. Knees are drawing out. Okay. See if you can sit a little lower. And again, maybe lift all 10 toes. Or for an extra challenge, you could try lifting one or both heels. Make sure you're still breathing. Again, noticing any conflict in the body or mind and doing whatever necessary to ease that conflict. Stay present, to allow the flow of prana to move more freely through your body. And then inhale, we'll reach back up, five-pointed star. As you exhale, turn toes in, heels out, and then just arms in a T, hinging at the hips, folding halfway, and then stopping. So torso parallel to the floor, micro bend in the knees, grounding into the outer edges of the feet and engaging the inner thighs. A little bit of core work here. Shoulder blades strong on the back. Take a deep breath in, and then exhale, release. And then just inhale, lifting the chest a bit, and we're just gonna walk the hands towards the top of the mat and coming right into that lunge again. And then we're going to plant the hands, step the front foot back, coming into plank. Pause here, breathe in. Find that strength and stability in this pose. Navel's drawing towards the spine. Shoulder blades are drawing back away from the ears. Let's take one more breath in. And then as you exhale, we'll move through the flow. So you could do just like we did before, knees, chest, chin, or you can come down in chaturanga if you'd like. Inhale, draw the heart forward for cobra, or maybe an up dog. And on your next exhale, we'll make our way to down dog. Taking a couple breaths here. Finding that length in the spine. And then on your next breath in, gaze forward. And as you exhale, make your way to the top of your mat for Uttanasana again. And on your next inhale, again, press into the feet, draw navel to spine, reverse swan dive, rising all the way up and reaching towards the sky. Exhale, open the arms wide, lift through the heart. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, just bring hands to heart center, so we're not folding forward this time. Okay, so moving into balanced pose from here. We'll do tree pose. Seems like we haven't done that in a while. Okay, so start with your solid foundation. So Spreading out the toes, grounding through the big toe mounds, little toe mounds, and heels. Stacking knees over ankles, hips over knees, shoulders over hips. Engaging the quads slightly, like you're drawing the kneecaps up, but then make sure you're not locking the knees. So a little bit of softness in the knees, but trying to engage the quads. Kind of a little balance there. Good. And then find your drishti, your focal point, somewhere on the floor in front of you. We're going to shift our weight to our right leg, take the left toes out to the side to open the hip, and draw that left heel in. Now, draw that right hip in, because it tends to kind of poke out there. So we want to draw outer hips in. If you want to lift that foot a little higher, you can bring it to any place other than the knee. And then you're going to press the foot into the leg as the leg presses back into the foot. So there's a lot of energy along that midline. And then if you feel stable here on your next breath in, you can reach the arms towards the sky. And then you choose. You can find that stillness in action, meaning we move, but our energy, our awareness is calm and still. Or you can be physically still with that keen awareness, that energy pulsating through the body for that dynamic stillness. In either case, we're looking for that presence, that conflict-free, calm energy. We'll take one more breath in. As you exhale, first just bring hands to heart center. And then we're going to release that left leg in front of the right, taking the left foot to the floor on the outside of the right foot so the pinky toes touch or come close. Slight bend in the knees. And then we're going to bow forward here. So maybe the hands reach the floor. You can bring hands to the hips, or you can even interlace the hands and let the hands come away from the body. That's a little more struggle with balance. But just finding some kind of forward fold here. Nice stretch to that outer right hip and IT band. And then on your next breath in, press into the feet, rise all the way back up, reach towards the sky, and uncross the legs. And then bring hands back to heart center. And then we'll prepare for the other side. So again, starting with that base, that foundation. So grounding into the feet, engaging the quads, making sure you're not locking the knees. Navel to spine, find your drishti. And then when you're ready, we're going to shift our weight slightly to the left foot as we take the right toes out, and then draw that right heel in, opening the knee, opening the hip. You can stay here using those toes as a kickstand, or you can bring that foot to any point on the leg other than the knee. And then again, we're drawing that energy into midline and up through the crown of the head. So outer hips squeeze in, the foot and leg squeeze together. Find your stability before moving to the next phase. So when you feel stable, you could inhale and reach the arms towards the sky. And again, maybe you come to movement, maybe you just focus on stillness. In either case, you're present, you're participating wholeheartedly in this moment. We experience a lot of conflict when we find ourselves wishing we were somewhere other than where we are. That happens often in life. We'll take one more breath in. And then exhale as hands come to heart center. We'll release right leg in front of the left, taking the foot to the floor on the outside of that left foot, pinky toes close, and then bowing forward. And again, you can take any position with the arms here. Arms dangling or hands on the floor blocks, hands on the hips, or you can interlace those fingers. On your next inhale, pressing into the feet, rising all the way back up and reaching towards the sky, and then uncross the legs. And exhale, we're gonna just bow forward, bringing hands through heart center, coming into that forward fold. And then heel toe your feet wider apart, turn the toes out, heels in, and we're gonna come down into a squat. So some of us might be here, elbows between the knees. Some of us might be able to let the hips come all the way down. This kind of feels like cheating to me because this is very comfortable, whereas this is a lot of work. But sometimes this is as far as we can go. Okay, so just taking a moment here to create length in the spine, pressing elbows into knees and knees back into the elbows. And then we can bring the hands to the floor behind us and come to a seat. We're actually going to come all the way back onto our backs. So roll back, hug the knees into your chest. Give them a tight squeeze. And then extend the legs towards the sky. Bring the arms alongside the body. As you exhale, press your low back down firmly into the mat and slowly start to lower one leg towards the floor. And then when you start to feel the low back lifting or you can't go any further, gently bring that foot back up. And then exhale, we'll lower the other leg. So the idea is to try to keep the low back pressing down into the floor the entire time. So the minute it starts to lift, don't go any further, just bring that foot back up. And just continue alternating, moving slowly, feet flexed, low back pressing into the floor. Make sure you're not sweeping or swinging the legs back up. And you want to have complete control of the movement. And then the next time you have both feet towards the sky, we'll pause there. And then as you exhale, we're going to lower both legs at once, but this time don't press the low back down into the floor. Let the low back just have a natural curve, pressing the feet together, the ankles together as you slowly lower down. And then inhale, bring both legs up towards the sky. And then hug the knees into your chest and rock side to side. And then release the feet to the mat. Bring the arms out in a T. Cross left leg over right, crossing at the knees. And then hug the knees into the chest. So legs are wrapped. You're squeezing the knees in, or you can grab a hold of the ankles, pulling the ankles down towards your hips. Just finding a stretch through the outer hips. We did a lot of hip opening and twisting. So I'm just bringing that stretch to the outside of the hips here. Good. And then release the hands, keep the legs crossed, bring the arms out in a T. You can bring that right foot back to the floor, press into it, scoot the hips 2 inches to the left, drop your knees to the right. So just finishing here in another twist. And as always, feel free to modify this. So if you prefer to uncross the legs, feel free, or you can extend that top leg straight, grabbing a hold of the toes with that right hand. Just any kind of twist here is perfect. And then with your next inhale, coming back to center. Okay, this time we're going to cross right leg over left, crossing at the knees. Okay, and then draw the knees in towards your chest and squeeze them in tight. Or again, you have that option of grabbing hold of the ankles and pulling the ankles down towards the hips. And then we'll release the arms, keep the legs crossed, bring that left foot back to the floor. Pick up the hips, scoot them 2 inches to the right, drop your knees to the left. Again, coming into any kind of twist here. And taking a few breaths. And then on your next breath in, come back to center. Uncross the legs. Hug the knees tight in towards your chest. Lift your head up, curling into a tight little ball. Squeezing in tight. And then inhale, release, and stretch out for Shavasana. Turning the palms up, toes gently falling outward, eyes closed. Bundling up if you need to. Just finding a place where you can rest deeply. Settling into that stillness. When you experience yourself in stillness, like that perfectly centered top, that is when you give your undivided attention to experiencing the truth about you, you will experience the conflict-free, calm, dynamic peace of perfectly centered, abundant life energy. Take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale through the mouth. Start to introduce small movements back into the body by wiggling your fingers and your toes, your hands and your feet. Slowly reach your arms out overhead, finding one more long stretch, lengthening from fingertips to toe tips. Maybe walking out the hips a bit. And then roll to one side in the fetal position, drawing the knees in close to the body. Resting here on your side for a few more moments. And then slowly making your way back to seated, perhaps unmuting yourself to join in a collective Om, if you would. We'll all meet in a comfortable seated position with hands at heart center in Anjali Mudra. And we'll take a deep breath in together. Thanks you guys for being here, for sharing your energy. Have a great Saturday. It looks like it's going to be beautiful. Namaste.
Namaste.